Welcome to Still with Purpose. This is Amanda and Christy.
Our goal is to dig deep and discuss real, raw subjects in pursuit of greater self-awareness, positive transformation, and healing, and to link arms and journey with you as we discover purpose and passion in life together.
Before we jump in, we'd like to ask if Still with Purpose has ever helped you feel seen, encouraged you to heal, helped you to breathe a little deeper, think differently, or reminded you that you're not alone. Please take a moment to follow the show, leave a review, and share this episode with someone you believe would get great value from it.
That simple act helps this message reach more humans, and we are so grateful for every single one of you walking this journey with us. We're so glad you're here. Let's get into today's conversation. We're here today talking about the question, what dream have you postponed while waiting for certainty God never promised?
Okay, here's the quote. The need for certainty has stopped more dreams than failure ever will. I actually think the addiction to certainty is much bigger than people actually realize. People think they're waiting on clarity, wisdom, confirmation, more information, but often we're waiting on certainty, and certainty is something God rarely gives. I don't know that He's given me a ton of certainty. Waiting for it is often procrastination dressed as wisdom. And I definitely have grown up in that era. I'm waiting to get wisdom about this, or I'm asking 100 people about it so I can be wise and make a great decision, when really it could have just been me choosing and moving instead of procrastinating. Because we've talked about in the past, asking a bunch of people actually stops you from moving forward because now your fear has just been blown out of proportion. But one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves in these moments is that we just need a little more information and then we'll move, we'll decide, we'll start, we'll trust. But if we're honest, many of us already know what we need to do. We're just afraid. We want the certainty, we want guarantees, we want God to show us the entire path before we take one step. And the problem is that almost every story in scripture works the complete opposite way. So think about Noah. He built this ark for years, even decades, before a drop of rain. It was a complete drought. And he's building a boat that makes no sense to the world. Everything I'm doing right now in my life makes no sense to the world. So this is a really great write-up for me because I'm living it right now. Abraham moved before direction. Moses stepped toward the sea before it parted. Peter stepped out before he knew he could walk on the water. And the water was incredibly huge waves. It wasn't just a calm pond situation. The pattern is consistent. Obedience first, understanding later. And I can say I've definitely been there.
Yeah, I think the problem is that we get so used to the world's expectations of, acquire a house or start a family or get this level of education, and then you'll be ready to go into this line of work. We have these certain milestones. I don't want to take this step before I'm financially ready. We've come to expect this level of certainty in these worldly decisions. The problem with that is God asks us to keep our eyes on things above of godly importance and those desires and goals that He puts in our hearts and our minds. We shouldn't be searching, waiting on that certainty to follow through with those things like we've come to expect in the worldly sense.
Yeah, and it creates this whole space of failure success on a constant thing. So am I successful because I'm doing this, or am I a failure because I don't have this yet?
Yeah, and if we're not certain about what the outcome is going to be, which we never are because God's in control, and we've already said a million times, God's way more creative than we are, it's probably going to be a much bigger, better outcome than we could ever think of. So if we get used to that, we should come to be anxiously awaiting the surprise versus dreading the uncertainty.
The certainty should be that He has a plan for us and it's good.
That's all we should need, right?
That's it. That is all we should need. Often not the case.
No, we get so tied into the fear that uncertainty creates.
And that's why I have a small group of friends, because I don't want to hear all their uncertainty, insecurity, and fear around anything I'm doing right now. But I do know that I'm supposed to be doing this right now, even though it doesn't look how I think it's supposed to look. It's not going as fast as I think it should be going. And my ego's involved on a probably hourly, daily basis of just constantly being like, this isn't about my ego and how people are viewing it. This is about my walk with God. And ultimately, if I do actually hear his voice, then I should trust for him to tell me it's time to do this now. And I will be willing to walk the next step. But until I hear that, I'm going to do the action. I'm not going to procrastinate. I'm going to learn. I'm going to be teachable. I'm going to listen to people that have done maybe what I am trying to accomplish and keep going. But I have no certainty of what the end result is going to be. We could affect 10 lives with our content, podcast, book, and retreats. Or we could change and support and encourage thousands of people. We are unattached to the outcome. And it's very hard to not look at the world in what, for lack of better, unjudgmental words, people that are not serving God and how many followers and how much voice they have in the world, because that's what the enemy wants. He wants us shut up. Since that is both of our crappy core beliefs, we have a different why, because we know that we are valuable and are worth seeing and hearing and understanding. And that's what we're fighting for on this podcast.
Yeah, you're absolutely right that we have no idea what God will do with what we're putting out there in the world. And we just have faith that he's, getting it to the right people, the people that he wants to hear it, and using it in the way that he wants. This Bible verse, Hebrews 11:1, says, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see." So we hope and we have assurance that God will use our works to glorify him. And that's all we need to worry. We don't even need to worry about that. That's all we need to focus on, rather than uncertainty and fear that creates, or any angst, or even anger. Like, I know sometimes in my life, I'm like, oh God, why won't you just tell me? But then I'm like, what right do I have to get mad that God's not telling me what he's got in store? I just need to be a faithful servant and do what I feel he's calling me to do every day, which could be the simplest of things. Do your job, do it to the best of your ability, be nice to the people around you, share, your stories and experiences where relevant, like the simplest of things. And then God, you take those and use those works how you see fit.
And isn't that the story of the cross? He knew he was supposed to do it, heard what the outcome was going to be, trusted that he's seen miracles come to fruition. He asked for him to take it away from him several times, and he still got nailed to a cross. And I got the visual when you were talking about us being almost like an underground church. An underground church, it's secretive and you're not supposed to be found out about. Basically, is kind of how I feel our content is right now. In the world, they don't want to hear it necessarily, but we're still boots to the ground, sticking to our plan, creating more, listening to God, and we're going to keep going until he says don't. And I have huge faith that God will speak to both of us and be like, I think we're good here. But until then, let's keep doing it in joy and creating some good conversations for people to think about.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So that's a lot about us, why we're doing this and how we have faith in doing it. I guess for our listeners who have taken the time to digest this content, which we're so grateful for, but also why are you doing it? Is God asking you to listen to something that we're saying, and the smallest of things, be faithful in your daily life by acting on one or two of these things that you've heard, or expanding your faith or your capacity for patience or trust in what God is doing in your life? So if we would all just lean into that uncertainty as a positive, because it means that God is in control and we don't have to be. That's great, right? I love that. I don't want to be in control. I don't want to be responsible. So thank you, God, for taking the reins and doing the best thing for all of us, because we know you love us and that's what you do. And then if we could all just commit to doing our small part to live out what he's asking us or calling us to do in even the very smallest ways, gosh, life would be so simple yet peaceful and wonderful.
That's the crazy part about it, is that he's like, yeah, I actually wanted it to be simple and easy. Like, I created this beautiful garden, and then what did we do? We ruined a good thing because
Yeah.
I don't know, just one tree was very interesting to us out of the whole garden. It's just the nature of man, pretty much.
Again, we wanted to take control.
Yeah.
I have this sign in my house, like a sign, I don't know if that's what you call it, but like a wooden plaque, and it just says live simply. And I've always felt like one of the gifts that God has given me is just to look at a situation, and I, for better or worse, sometimes it's not a great thing, but I just like to simplify things, like break it down to the simplest of ways. Why are we complicating this? Shouldn't it just be 1 + 1 = 2? Or, whatever the situation is, my mind immediately goes to the simplest explanation or the simplest way forward. And I think that's what God intended. Life shouldn't be overly complicated. It's not hard to just put our faith in God and say, okay, God, you do it. That's so simple, but yet so hard.
Yeah, I think it's been stated by a lot of leaders. We just have too many choices now. Life was really simple in Eden, and we just have so many choices bombarding us at all times, putting us in a space of self-criticalness and desiring certainty, when if it was really simplified, like you're saying, we wouldn't actually desire certainty. We would just be super happy with where we were at.
Because there's really ultimately one choice if we want to follow God's will.
Yeah.
That's it. We follow God's guidance and have faith in what he's doing in our lives and in life at large. That's one choice if we want to follow God's will.
Oh, it's so interesting I brought up Eden, because all the voices that come in, are you sure you heard from God? I mean, that's basically what's going on with me on a daily basis. That's the enemy. Are you sure you heard from God?
Making you question.
It's a daily thing. And honestly, if I didn't take the time to really pray about the last decisions I've made in the last 6-7 months, I would question that. But I took the time to really get clear and pray about it before I made a decision. And I can honestly say I've fallen back on that many a times.
And that's how you build your faith, by knowing that you've taken it to God and you felt in your heart what he wants you to do. And so you no longer are questioning it.
Yeah. I think one of the greatest obstacles to growth is confusing certainty with wisdom. Wisdom gathers information. Certainty demands guarantees. Wisdom says, I've prayed about it, sought counsel, and now it's time to move. Certainty says, I'll move when there's no risk. But that's not faith. Like you were saying, that's control, which everyone hates that word, I'm assuming, as much as I do. I'm not controlling anything. I have no control. Well, that actually is control if I'm coming from I'll move when there's no risk. The deeper issue is often trust, because certainty removes the need for trust, which is kind of what you were saying before. If we knew exactly how everything would unfold, relationships, careers, businesses, ministries, healing, we wouldn't need faith. We'd simply execute a plan. But God seems far more interested in developing trust than providing guarantees. The irony is that movement creates clarity. People sit on the sidelines waiting for confidence, but confidence is usually the result of action, not the prerequisite. The first podcast, the first book, the first conversation, the first boundary, the first step. Most clarity comes after movement, not before it.
Well, and you're saying confidence is the result of action. I think God wants our confidence in him to grow, not in ourselves. I'm not confident in my own abilities anymore at all. And I think that's a big shift in me over the last, I don't even know. I always put timestamps on things, and they're probably often really wrong. But I think over the last 10 years, gradually, I've shifted from what can I do? What are my abilities because of what I've learned or gotten better at or what I've achieved? It's been a huge shift into no, it's what does God want me to be able to accomplish because he gives me the ability? What is God doing through me? What is God using me to accomplish? And it's about me having confidence in God and all that God can do, which that confidence is infinite because God can do anything. The confidence that I had in myself years ago was minuscule because I'm human and I can't do anything without God. So it's just such a shift in mindset that the whole world, everything opens up to you and your confidence can be huge in God.
Agreed. Oh, that quote, are your problems bigger than God, or is God bigger than your problems? That's a humongous shift to come at life from that perspective. I think about how many years people or I have spent saying, I'm praying about it, I'm thinking about it, I'm researching, I'm considering my options. And sometimes that's wisdom, but sometimes it's fear wearing a spiritual costume. The tragedy isn't failure. The tragedy is spending years waiting for certainty that will never come. Meanwhile, life keeps moving, opportunities pass, character isn't developed, dreams remain untouched, and actually people convince themselves it wasn't meant to be, when really they never took the first step.
That's sad.
I know. And that's why I'm so proud of this project, because I just hope that this podcast encourages people to go for their dreams, because I love breathing life into people's dreams. And I wouldn't be able to do it if I didn't take some really bold, risky moves myself, to have the faith to believe that you can do it too.
Can you imagine if every single person in this world was able to eliminate any type of fear about financial risk or reputation risk or perception risk, anything, take it away, and everyone went for, no holds barred, went for what they truly felt God wanted them to do, what they had a talent for, a gift for, and they wanted to share with other people for the good of humanity. Can you imagine what this world would be like? How awesome would that be?
I think if we were all in our gifts, we'd all be truly at peace with ourselves and our creator that gave us the gifts. And it would be from a humble state of mind instead of ego. And it would be incredibly beautiful. I've had the honor of being around people that are going for big dreams for a very long time. So it's huge. And also, if you lack dreams, get around people that are going for big dreams. Get around their energy. See what it will drum up in you.
It's also, we were talking about this in my Bible study last night. It's also, though, what's your motivation behind those dreams and goals? Like, it can't be self-serving. It can't be for fame or fortune or, any of the attractive things to our fleshly nature. It's going after big dreams because we feel called to do it by God, and it's going to help others, help the world. That would be just amazing to watch what people could do and the difference in this world and in the lives of everyone else that could take place.
I have a quote in my book from True Faced, which is one of my top books. Ever since we were children, we have had dreams and hopes of destiny. Some came from the very heart of God, and God's dreams never go off the radar screen. Even if we've forgotten them, God has not. God's dreams for you are not really about you. They come alive when they are for the benefit of others, loving them, guiding them, and serving them. God's dream always involves others being freed, healed, and convinced of who they truly are. And that's what you're saying. It can't be self-absorbed and materialistic.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
I just love that quote. I mean, I love it so much. I wrote a whole piece on it. So
it's wonderful.
Yeah. So hopefully that jogged something in you to really look at where you're at with certainty, or maybe killing off the desire for certainty is the whole purpose of this podcast. Maybe realizing you're never going to get it. And once you know that, that could change your life.
And going from never going to get it, which sounds like a negative thing, like just deal with it, you're never going to get it, to really welcoming the faith walk with God. And again, just being able to let it go and live simply and let him be in control and being happy about that or being content with that.
And we're very clear this is not easy to do, and it's totally worth it.
Yeah. All right. Reflection questions for the week. First one is, what decision have you delayed because you want guarantees before you move? And also, where in your life are you confusing wisdom with fear? And then what would you do this week if certainty was no longer a requirement?
Nice. Hope you guys have a good week.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much for joining us today. We know your time is valuable, and we're truly grateful you spent part of it with us. We hope this conversation stays with you and helps you move through the week with more clarity, peace, and purpose.
Be sure to visit us at stillwithpurpose.com. And there you can read our bios, sign up for email encouragement and updates on exciting announcements, and also join our Facebook community.
And if Still With Purpose has encouraged you in any way, please remember to follow, leave a quick review, and share with a friend. It helps more more people find these conversations. Have a phenomenal week, and we'll see you next time.